Hello and welcome to another update video about TLT. So that's the iShares 20 plus year Treasury bond ETF, and quite a popular one to look at. And it is basically back to all-time lows, nearly, nearly. It's at a very important line to hold. I think it's a pretty obvious line to expect a bounce at, especially as we had quite a decent rally here into the 2020 highs, and since then it has just been dropping, and it has been dropping in what I would consider is a 5-wave move to the downside. That can be either an A wave or a wave 1. An A wave or a wave 1. So it's certainly not yet bullish, okay? There is on the lower time frame absolutely no evidence that a low is in place. And I would expect, however, a bounce from this region. So I'm going to zoom in a minute. We try to understand the lower degree wave count. And also we need to understand what the level is that needs to break to the upside to confirm some kind of a low is in place. However, the rally that we expect is not an impulse, because looking at this, after a 5-wave move to the downside, I would expect a 3-wave move up in either wave 2 or the B wave with another low. So that means that what I'm watching for is a corrective rally that could still be quite a decent rally, and I might need to adjust resistance a little bit because we have dropped a little lower since the last update. Resistance is now likely between $122 and $153, between the 50% and the 78.6 fib level. Resistance for the B wave or the wave 2. And these two counts, yellow and white, 1 second, don't want to mix them up. These two counts, they are going to be mirror counts until the end of the 3rd wave or alternatively C wave. It doesn't really matter what it is at the moment. They are mirror counts, and you will not recognize a difference between a wave 2 or a B wave, really. So we're not really watching for an impulsive rally. We're going to watch for a corrective rally. A waves can be 5-wave moves or 3-wave moves. Oftentimes they are 3 waves, so we have to expect a bit of a choppy move here to the upside. They can also be leading diagonals, A wave. So there are plenty of options here. So we shouldn't necessarily watch for an impulse to the upside. That's actually what I want to communicate here. Eventually it should be a 3-wave move going into resistance, and only really a sustained break above $153 with the right structure would indicate something even more bullish. Until then, this would just be seen as a corrective rally. Now, let's zoom in. So that's certainly not bullish long term, not yet, okay? So there's more to come, more evidence needed. But, there could be quite a decent rally from here if we form a low. And I'm watching for a low, and maybe just to zoom out again, you can see that structural support area that we put onto the chart in the last video between $80.70 and $83. So I'm watching this area for a potential low. Now, if we go to the 4-hour chart, you can see the move of the 2020 high. It's a 5-wave move to the downside in my reading. And basically, I would argue that we're now in this 5th wave to the downside. And in this 5th wave, we should be nearly at a low. TLT seems to be holding support at the moment, but there is absolutely no evidence that some kind of a bounce has started or anything. I think in the last video, I haven't rewatched it, maybe some of you know, but I think in the last video I highlighted that one more low would be likely. And if I'm not mistaken, we were here somewhere. So yeah, one more low happened, because then I can count 5 waves in the 5th wave. And now we need to understand what would be the first resistance level that needs to break to confirm that we are back in at least a corrective uptrend, which should also still be a decent one. So resistance would be above, between $88 and $89.70. This is the resistance level I'm watching. If we get a break above resistance, it suggests that something more bullish might be at play here. So just looking for arrows. So yeah, that would be a bit of a breakout point here to the upside. if we get there and then break out. Because as long as we stay below the 50% retracement level, we could just get another wave 4 and a wave 5, okay? That would be the first, let's say, first evidence, and then I would start to track a reversal really. Yeah, and until then, downside pressure is going to be kept alive, but this is basically the region where I would be watching for a reversal. First of all, because we have 5 waves down, so we're close to the end of this cycle. Yes, we haven't broken resistance yet, but we have arrived at critical support. And looking at the relative strength index, and I would like to go to the daily chart, I think we might see here a bullish divergence. And what I explained to you in the last video as well, if we see a break above the descending trend line on the RSI, this could be a breakout. Okay, so trend line breakouts of the RSI can be very, very useful, at least to indicate that something bullish is playing out, you know, at least in some kind of a corrective rally or so. So I would pay attention to that as well. We're not there yet, okay, but we had previous trend line breaks of the RSI. For example, we just add another line that was here. We also had a trend line with 3 or 4 touch points here. And when it broke, it rallied, okay? Nothing too significant, but also rallied from 91 to $109. So sometimes trend line breakouts on the RSI can be quite helpful. And what else is there to add? So not much. We can define a target for the end of the A wave as soon as we see like the first sort of subwaves evolve, and as soon as we see a little bit of price data that is pointing to the upside, yeah. And I mean, long term, as I said, it's not looking too good. Seems to go down further. At least that is the projection. Now, maybe on the weekly chart, also let's take a look at the indicators. And here you can see that on the weekly chart, it's been significantly oversold. Now, not only that, it also shows a bullish divergence from that low to that low, and a divergence as well from that low to that low. So that is quite good in terms of potential turnaround, a potential turnaround. Yeah, that's my update about TLT. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you're interested in daily updates about the S&P 500, as well as updates about several stocks and shares, take a look at our stocks and shares service. We launched it a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I think 3 weeks ago. And you can find the link in the description. It takes you to Patreon, and then you can see, you know, which stocks are included, what are the updates like, and so on. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.